the middle of his testimony. And so he's been instructed he is not permitted to discuss his testimony with anyone, and that would be even including you. We had his lawyer with us throughout the trial and his testimony, and his lawyer even reminded him of that. You know this, I'm not telling you something you don't know. All the calls are recorded in the ODRC. So just as a reminder, I would never want you to indirectly or inadvertently violate my order. So I just want you to understand we advised him regarding that. He is set to testify, the conclusion of his testimony tomorrow. And then, of course, we know that your granddaughter is going to testify at some point. So you just keep all of those orders that I have in place in your mind, and be mindful of that, because you don't want to be in violation of any of those orders. Okay? All right. I just wanted to explain that to you directly so you understood where we were at. All right, we're ready for the jurors.
All right.
All right, thanks, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. You can be seated as you come in. Thank you very much. Very good. Thanks, everybody. Okay. All right, very good. Thanks, everyone. You may be seated. Just as a reminder to our jurors, so that you know the courtroom was sanitized while you were just on that recess. If you recall, we concluded with Ms. Cobb's testimony earlier. We took a recess. And then I just want to remind you that we concluded the direct examination of Chad Cobb, and at some point we will conclude his testimony with cross-examination, and I'll provide you with that schedule. Ms. Cobb will be our last witness this afternoon, and then you'll be excused for the evening. So there's our update for today. All right, so with that then, Mrs. Cobb, you are still under oath. Attorney O'Brien, you may proceed with cross-examination. Thank you. It's 5 till 4. Thank you.
Ms. Cobb, I'm Kerry O'Brien and I represent Erica. If I ask you a question and you don't understand it, you are free to ask me to rephrase it. Is that fair? Yes. All right. We've had some, first off, a matter that's come up occasionally, and that's the idea of adoption. There's been talk about certain people being adopted. In this case, to the best of your knowledge, has anybody ever been adopted?
Alexander's been adopted.
All right.
Just as a reminder, remember, we're going to use initials for minors, okay? Just a reminder with that. Thank you.
But that was before Erica and Chad got together. Is that correct?
That he was adopted?
Yes, ma'am.
No, he got adopted after Erica and Mike got married.
All right. Now, as far as any of Chad and Erica's children, were they adopted?
No, sir.
All right. In fact, who are they living with right now?
They reside with us.
Okay. That's you and Jay, is that correct?
Correct.
All right. Now, Chad is your only child. Is that a fair way of putting it?
Correct.
Your hopes and dreams rested on his birth. Is that correct?
He's our only son. Yes.
All right. So that's a yes?
Yes.
All right. And you do just about anything legal to help him out. Is that a fair way of putting it?
Legally, yes.
All right. And in fact, you have helped him a great deal, particularly since 2012. Is that a fair way of putting it?
Yes.
Okay. Now, in 2012, Chad was charged with aggravated murder. Is that correct?
Correct.
And an assortment of other charges, such as kidnapping, aggravated robbery, abuse of a corpse, grand theft. Those sound familiar?
Yes, sir.
And in terms of the aggravated murder, he pled guilty to that, did he not?
I believe he pled guilty to all the charges.
And that aggravated murder took place on West Turkey Foot Road. Is that right?
I believe so.
Okay. And the specifics of that murder, do you know what those specifics are? The injuries to Ashley?
No, I do not.
I'm so sorry. Did you say objection?
I did say objection, but she said she didn't know, so I'll withdraw.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Thank you.
There was the death penalty attached to the aggravated murder. Is that correct, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
That meant that if Chad went to trial and lost, a jury could have recommended the death penalty. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
And a judge could have accepted that recommendation and sentenced him to death. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, Chad never went to trial, did he?
No, sir.
He never went to trial to protest his innocence, did he?
No, sir.
Chad pled guilty and he was sent to prison, correct?
Correct.
Yet, soon after he went to prison, he filed an appeal. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Even though he just agreed to save his life, he pled guilty, correct?
Yes, sir.
This case had its genesis, its origin, in a fierce, my word, custody battle. Would you not agree?
Yes.
All right. And there came a point in time where Chad got, I'm going to use the word custody, but I'm using it somewhat loosely because do you know if he had formal custody granted to him by a court?
Yes, he had full and complete custody awarded to him through court.
And that was after Ashley left,
Yes.
okay? And for about 3 to 4 years, I'm going to use this phrase, Ashley's out of the picture. Is that a fair way of putting it?
Yes.
In the interim, Chad meets Erica. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay. And they have 2 children. True?
Correct.
All right. Now, if I could have just a second, Judge.
Yes.
This appeal, was he trying to back out of his responsibility for that guilty plea?
Objection.
Overruled.
Ma'am?
Can you rephrase?
Sure. By him filing this appeal, he somehow did not agree with his guilty plea. Would you agree with that?
I would agree.
Okay. So at one point in time, he takes responsibility for the murder of Ashley Biggs. And then a short time after he goes to prison, he changes his mind.
I can't speak for his actions.
I understand, ma'am. I'm just asking, the fact that he filed the appeal would indicate he's having second thoughts?
I would assume so.
To the best of your knowledge, that appeal was denied, was it not, ma'am?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. Is it safe to say that you don't like Erica Stefanko. Is that fair to say that?
We had a working relationship for the kids. She might not be my favorite person. I don't hate her.
Okay. I think I used the phrase you don't like her. Is that a fair way of putting it?
After what's transpired, that'd be a fair.
All right. In fact, you felt that she was never really good enough for your Chad, correct?
No, I mean, they seemed to get along in the beginning.
Well, at the present time, let's put it that way, you don't feel that she was ever good enough for Chad, true?
No?
Okay. You have, for some time now, harbored a feeling that she is partially responsible for your son being in prison, correct?
It took two.
Ma'am, I apologize.
I'm
I
sorry.
can't hear you.
It took two of them to get into their situations.
Did there come a point in time when there was a phone call made to you late on June 21st, 2012 by
Yes.
Chad?
Yes.
And Chad was, let's put it this way, was he nervous? I'm sorry, ma'am.
I was trying to think back. That's been several years ago.
I understand that. Take your time.
Yeah, I would say he was somewhat nervous.
Was he panicky?
I don't know.
Okay. He asked you to do him a favor, is that correct?
No. He asked, or didn't ask, he was stating things did not go well. Like I had said, bad location, bad reception. I'm not sure there was a lot of bad connection to where there wasn't anything there.
Did he ask you to go someplace?
I don't remember.
As a result of his phone call to you, did he go over, or did you and Jay go over to Mike Stefanko's house?
Yes, he did ask us to go over.
Did you go over to Mike Stefanko's place?
We did go over, and he wanted Mike to call him, and we told, that's what we relayed to Mike.
You told Mr. Stefanko that Chad was trying to reach you, is that correct?
I believe so.
You had to bang on the door and wake up, Mr. Stefanko. Is that true?
I don't recall.
This was pretty late at night, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning?
It was late. I don't recall the exact time.
Okay. Do you know anything about an electronic tracker being put on Ashley Biggs's car?
No, sir.
Do you know anybody who may have bought such a tracker?
No, sir.
As part of the time that Chad was in prison, probably the first 2 or 3 years, was there ever a time when Chad was threatening Erica with some type of information?
I mean, judging from our conversations and that, Erica had stated that he was holding stuff over her head.
All right. The time spent between the time Chad went to prison, which we have established as February of 2013. What was your relationship with Erica during that time?
We had a working relationship with the kids.
Okay?
When they were in foster care, she would come over to the house for a visitation with them.
Did Erica not get the children back from the foster care people?
Not right away, no, sir.
Eventually she did, though, didn't she?
Correct.
Okay. Now, you indicate you had a working relationship with her?
Yes.
All right. Yet on or about March 4th, 2014, you invited Erica over to your place. Is that correct?
She requested a meeting.
All right. And you suggested, okay, is that right?
Yes.
And you suggested your place, correct?
Correct. I mean, she would come over and whenever we had discussions.
But you suggested this particular date that she come over to your place.
Yes.
True? Why was that?
She wanted to discuss things.
No, why did you suggest your place?
Because it was home.
Right. Wasn't the real reason you suggested your place is so that you could surreptitiously, that means secretly, make a recording of your meeting, correct?
I did make a recording. Yes, I did.
All right. Now, at the start of this meeting, did you have or offer Erica some alcohol or an alcoholic beverage?
Yes, I did.
All right. And did you have an alcoholic beverage yourself?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Did you know Erica to start drinking heavily after Chad went to prison?
I knew she drank.
All right. So this meeting lasts, I think we've been told it's about 3 hours. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
How many drinks do you think you offered Erica during that 3-hour period?
I believe it was only one.
So Erica, who had been drinking heavily only wanted one drink in a 3-hour meeting with you at your place.
Best to my knowledge.
Could she have had more than one?
I don't believe so.
Do you know if she'd been drinking before she got there?
I do not know.
The intention for this meeting was to discuss visitation problems,
Correct.
but somehow the conversation got into the killing of Ashley. Did it not?
Correct.
Right? And as a result, there is a 3-hour discussion more about the killing of Ashley than the visitation. Correct?
Maybe half and half.
Right? And all this while, you haven't told Erica that she's being taped, correct?
Correct.
All the while, this thing is going on. True?
The recorder, yes.
And this recorder, you then put away for about, I think the time frame is about 4 years,
Correct.
from 2014 to 2018.
Rough, yes.
All right? And you don't break up this conversation, do you, after 3 hours? You keep it going, don't you?
Correct.
You want to hear more and more about what Erica has to say, a person who's known to drink heavily and has had at least one drink in her.
We had a meeting and I left it on. We did not leave the building until the end of the discussion.
The avowed purpose was to hope that Erica will say something damning. Is that correct?
No, it was more because of the kids. And always, whenever she was upset about something, calling, withholding the kids until everybody was, in her words, on the same page. We would not get visitation.
But you helped turn the discussion toward Chad and his being in prison, correct?
She spoke freely. I didn't ask. She started the conversations.
There came a point in time that you told Erica, or Erica told you that she had no knowledge of what Chad had been planning that night. True?
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled.
Correct, ma'am?
I'm sorry, rephrase.
During this conversation, Erica told you that she had no idea of what Chad was planning that night, correct?
Objection, the best evidence is the recording, Your Honor.
Overruled.
Judge, at this time, I'd like to play some of the transcript,
Okay,
and Ms. Cottrell is going to assist me on that.
okay. Excellent. And then just pursuant to your request earlier, as you noted for the record, just to be clear, whatever you choose to play, you're permitted.
Very good, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just so I can, sorry,
That's right.
make sure that we're. Thank you so much.
Oops. Let's try to start from the beginning. Oh. This is not there. This is on. Oh, this one. Okay.
Page.
Okay, we're gonna start at, we're just gonna walk through the transcript. We'll start on page 2 at 145. It's the very beginning.
On page 2, line 11. Miss Lyon, did you hear your, I'm sorry. Is it Cynthia or Cindee?
I
Cobb?
go by Cindee, but Cynthia is my legal name.
All right. Ma'am, did you hear on page 2, line 11 and 12, that Miss Lyon said she'll take some of the stronger stuff if there's anything available?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Did you hear there was stronger stuff?
Yes.
Okay. Now, we'll go down to line 19.
Figures, and this is the rum. It's got like a actual berry flavor to it. Yeah, that one. I mean, my cup's clean, but I don't want to take a swig and it not be what I'm thinking it's supposed to be. So.
So during that part of the conversation, did you hear Ms. Stefanko ask for vodka?
Yes.
Okay. Next.
This is the Grace one.
There's three. If we could go to page 15.
Mine's not
I'm sorry. Let's go to,
page 15. Mine's oh, okay. So okay, we can start at 13.
all right. If we could go to page 13, line 24.
It's so hard to get this.
All right, sure. Would be line 24, line 20.
All the time in the world. I would be a lot more patient about it, except that that's exactly what you just said, where he thinks and I definitely think that there's there.
It's line 24.
Line 24.
The only things that he didn't know about
Right.
at the time. Okay.
Then it spills over to page 14, line 1.
There's a lot of change. But I don't, he's looking at this that it's all bad, and I don't think it's bad. Like, he's had, because stuff did come out in counseling, and you've openly admitted to both.
Sorry, this is not where that is. Counsel on how to be, okay. I think we went back a little bit too much. So stuff came out in counseling. You want to go down just a bit.
That'll come down to, let's say,
Yeah.
line 20 from there.
So just trying to hold an audible on me.
I did.
Okay, let's see where this is.
That, and then the one I would be like, well, just don't be up your dad's ass. But I wouldn't put it that way. I'd be like, don't up your dad so much. Don't do this, don't do that. And then you just add a loss and you feel like a complete idiot. But I think he always thought he had to worry about what Ashley and Brittany were doing.
Okay, we're gonna have to go back to that one. I'm sorry.
Mrs. Cobb, is there a point in time, do you recall in your conversation that Ms. Lyon says that the only things he didn't know about at the time was the dog poop thing, which really wasn't dog poop? Remember that?
Yes.
Okay. Next.
Okay. So, we're in prison right now, she's talking about those two.
Next we have page,
Actually, we're gonna go, do you want to do 25?
which one is it?
Because I like the whole word of America. If I step out of line, that's what happens.
What page is that?
That is page 28.
Page 28, counsel, and what line?
Line 2.
Begin with line 2. next. We have page.
You wanna ask me?
That speaks for itself.
Okay, so here's.
At this point in time in the conversation, is it Erica telling you that she's under Chad's control and she's got to do what he says she has to do?
That was her wording.
Okay. Next.
Okay, page 68.
Page 68, counsel. What lines?
Line 2.
Line 2 to what?
Page 70, line 24.
No,
And, yep,
page 68 and line
Line
2 to
two.
what?
page 70, line 24.
Oh, I
It's
see.
a
All
little
right.
bit
I'm sorry.
longer.
All right.
Yep, okay, so.
68 to 70, beginning with line 2 on 68.
You were not here, and there was nothing, for a long time, there was nothing going on with Mike and I that was inappropriate. I would go over to his house when I was about passed out drunk and about to lose my mind. I know he wanted me to come here, but it was just, I felt not judged over there. Not to even ask you guys, but I felt not judged.
And I mean, if things would have transpired how they have, if it would have been, okay, Chad, I'm not going to be your wife anymore. And that, but it's like,
And see, I didn't feel that way. Like, it wasn't like I was like, okay, I'm not gonna be your wife anymore. I still feel as much like as I always have. Like, I love him and like I want to split with him. So, I mean, for me to be like, well, I'm not gonna be your wife anymore, and then Mike was in the same boat. He's like, this is, it doesn't matter what I want. This is,
but when you stay together and have a relationship and have a kid, that's kind of like,
Well, see, but the relationship didn't really come until probably almost after the kid. Like, that, Chad seems to think the thing was going on the whole time, but it's like, it wasn't that. It was some drunken thing. Like, for the most part, I would just go over there and I would just pass out. And it's like, this was my safe place. And then a couple of times, and it was my fault. Like, I told Chad, I'm like, we don't need to be thinking that he did X, Y, Z.
it takes two.
It takes two, but I mean, it takes at least the one person to be like, "Ah." But I mean, it really, I feel like I was the responsible party if there has to be one or the other.
But I mean, I know you say you want to work with him on raising the kids and that. I know one of his issues is he does not want the kids growing up thinking, and I don't know what issues, marriage wise you guys had before about unfaithfulness and that, but obviously some things have changed, that it's okay to be married to one and then doing this with the other.
Can we approach, I would like to register an objection, but I didn't want to speak it.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Judge, what we're going to do is continue on and using some, but not all, of the passages that the state used on the direct examination with Ms. Cobb.
Okay, why don't you just associate that with the question of the witness, and then we'll take it one step at a time. Thank you.
Let's go back to where we at.
Cindy's motive, high disapproval.
We have page 60, well, we were at 68. Ms. Cobb, page 68 and 69 and 70.
We just did that.
That this passage, ma'am, this indicates that you disapprove of Erica's relationship with Mike in some way. Is that correct?
Didn't disapprove of the relationship, disapproved because she didn't finish one relationship before going on to another, and then with having some of the kids in the house, being married to one and being with another man.
Did this bring about any dislike of Erica at this point in time?
Just not, I didn't like and I didn't dislike her.
I think you already indicated, though, that at the present time, I think your phrase was, she's not your favorite person.
Correct.
All right. That continues to today?
Yeah.
Okay. Next. What do we have next?
Okay, I'm just going chronologically.
Right.
So, and it bounces back. So let's see here. We've got 7, which is. Okay, so this is page 136, lines 2 through 14. This is part of what the state's exhibit 11 was, just to kind of focus.
You guys go fucking there for Christmas, which I promptly just stabbed myself in the finger with, and I now have no feeling in the end of my finger.
Oh, yeah, Alexander had this alarm, because Jake
136, lines 2 to 14.
2 through 14.
Oh, 3 through 14 on 136, so that's.
From today. Oh my God. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Ashley is going to get custody of this child, especially after the guardian ad litem came in and was like, the point where he was getting ready to be like, I can't help her. I'll terminate my rights.
Yeah,
And whatever he thinks.
All right, so let's go back, and that's the thing. But that's just a paragraph. I just got.
Ms. Cobb, do you remember part of the transcript where there is, I believe it's Chad saying that he can't help her and he'll just terminate his rights to her?
Yes.
And that at that point in time, it was referred to as a tipping point?
Yeah, I believe so.
All right. Do you think at that point in time, Ms. Cobb, that Chad seemed to, my phrase is, spin out of control?
No, like I stated, we'd seen him a few days prior, and they were getting ready to go on vacation.
Was he acting erratically, though?
No,
Did he take the attitude of women should be kept barefoot and pregnant and down on the farm?
no.
I'm not referring to the transcript right now, but I think you indicated that Chad at one point in time was in the military.
Yes, sir.
All right. And he joined the Marine Corps, I believe.
Correct.
All right. How long was he in the Marine Corps?
Just for basic training.
And why did he leave the Marine Corps after basic training, if you know?
They wanted to turn him into it was infantry, so it would have been first in, and he didn't have the stomach for it.
I apologize, ma'am. I didn't hear that last phrase.
I said he didn't have the stomach for being in the infantry,
What kind of discharge did the Marine Corps give him?
other than honorable, I believe.
Going back to what number?
Next one is page 138 to 139, Erica and Chad's relationship, generalized guilt in the context for the end of prosecution's number 10. It all fell apart. Do you want to?
No, I don't want to do that. Let's go to.
We don't get along very well. Funny.
What line to what line? Here we go.
2, 6. So hard to control this because it skips around.
What
Past
line?
it. Line 20.
Okay, to what line?
Um,
157 to 150,
or 151 to
To
153, line 14. Yep.
line 20 on 151 to line 14 on 153.
And I would object to hearsay. This is a context issue.
All right, thank you. Overruled.
I cannot get it to go on the right one. All right, it's going to go just a little
It
more.
was his fault because he wouldn't share you. I think exactly the way that I put it was that
Okay, let's. This player's a little tricky. I apologize. It's just not going. 12.6 point.
it was his fault because he wouldn't share you. I think exactly the way that I put it was that the reason that Mike and I got started in the first place was because I couldn't feed myself by myself. I very explicitly said by no fault of Chaz, he wasn't there through this shittiest time of my life. I didn't have my kids, I didn't have Chad either, and I had nothing to lean on. I know he thinks, he's never said this, but my assumption is that he thinks I should have just leaned on you guys, but it's just, it wasn't, no offense to you, but it just didn't work for me. We're not overly great fans of each other. And, well, from my perspective, I wouldn't necessarily say that. You could say that, and I respect it, but it wasn't that. It wasn't that I, have some problem with you guys or, anything of that nature. It was just, it wasn't comfortable. I couldn't, I don't think you would, even though we were both grieving over the situation with Chad, I think we were doing it in different kind of ways. I didn't feel comfortable with you, and I also felt like, as much as you were trying to be supportive of me for him, that you also were, you didn't say it, but I felt like in the back of your head, you still must be blaming me for it. In some way, which is not unreasonable, but it still didn't put me in a comfortable spot to be here.
Ms. Cobb, at this point in time, is Erica trying to indicate to you that she doesn't have any problem with you,
Correct?
even though you said that we're not overly great fans of each other, correct?
Correct.
Next one.
Is Mike, not Chad, so we're gonna go to page 176, line 15.
Page 176, line 15 to 177, line 1.
What line? Sorry.
Sure. 176, it's line 15.
Mike has kids sometimes. That's just what I know. We grit our teeth on them. I felt really bad, and obviously I have a different perspective, but I felt really bad because I know how much that I put him in the position that he's in.
Stop it.
And
Ma'am, that passage begins with, okay, I took him, I can't sit back down, who's got the kids? And your reply, I'm sorry, Miss Lyons replies, Mike has the kids. Mike has the kids sometimes. I know we grit our teeth when we, Miss Lyon. And I felt really bad, and obviously I have a direct perspective, but I felt really bad because I know how much I put him in the position he's in. Now, are we talking about Mike at this point in time?
I don't know, could I see it on paper? The transcript on paperwork? It's just hard for me to hear with the background noise in there.
Sure, and I appreciate, with the court's permission.
Why don't you read it to her from that, Attorney?
Sure.
O'Brien? And just reference the page number and the line.
Will do, Your Honor. Page 176, beginning with line 18. Miss Lyon, Mike has the kids. Mike has the kids sometimes. Miss Cobb, I know we grit our teeth when we, Miss Lyon, and I don't. I felt really bad. And obviously I have a direct perspective. But I felt really bad because I know how much that I put him in the position that he's in. Now, are we talking about Mike at that point in time?
Objection. That's Ms. Cobb and Ms. Lyons' Ms. Stefanko's statement, and he's asking her to interpret Ms. Stefanko's statement. We object.
Do you recall hearing that statement?
I mean, if it's recorded, it's in there. I don't know
Right.
that I remember it.
Would you agree that during this period of time that Mike Stefanko often had the kids?
I know he watched them sometimes, yes.
Okay. What's the last one?
All right. Two more goes to motive, might be duplicative. Ms. Cobb hates Erica, and do be disloyal, so it's a long one.
No,
So,
I wouldn't read that. Let's
so
go with
179 through 180, line 20. She does say I can say that.
All right, let's go to the last two
And
with you.
181, well, this is it, these are the last two, so 181, line 1 through line 21, I can stay mad.
Okay, very good. This would be page 181. And it's, I believe, how long is it? It's just 181, isn't
Yeah.
it?
181,
181, line 1 to line 21.
That's the closest I can get it.
Get that. I get that. It sucks for everyone involved.
And sometimes it is easy to sit here and go, this, that, and the other, and that, but it's like, it's amazing how if you can truly put that shoe on the other foot, be in Chad's shoes and reverse the whole scenario, and that you might not have the same outlook.
No, I can put myself in Chad's shoes. I really can, and I know exactly what my response would be. And I'm different from Chad because I cannot stay mad. That's one of the reasons that Chad and I stayed together for so long. I cannot stay mad. I will forgive you. I don't care what you did to me. I will forgive you. Go for it.
I can say that.
Yeah, I know you can.
You end up there saying, Miss Cobb, that we'll see and I can stay mad. Correct, ma'am?
I believe so.
Just a couple more questions, Ms. Cobb. To this day, you're hoping some way, somehow, to get Chad out of prison. Is that correct?
I would hope to one day.
And even though he pled guilty to life with no possibility of parole, you're still willing to do just about anything legal to help get him out of prison, or at least get his sentence reduced. Is that a fair thing to say?
I think any parent would do that.
And by any parent, that includes you, correct?
Yes.
If I could have a moment, Your Honor.
Yes.
54, counsel. Bottom of the page, line 25, over to page 55, down to line 17. Ma'am, do you recall, as part of that March 4th meeting with Erica Stefanko, Erica Lyon back then, your statement, Ms. Cobb, I think he snapped. I don't, and Ms. Lyon goes on to say, I don't, the only reason I'm confused about that, I can totally see him snapping, but except for 2 reasons.
Attorney O'Brien.
I'm sorry, Judge. Apologize. Particularly to Ms. Easton. I don't. The only reason I'm confused about that, I can totally see him snapping, but except for 2 reasons. 1, I've seen him in a rage, totally furious, wanting to beat the crap out of somebody. And I've seen him be controlled enough to get just to the point where someone's at ankle would snap, but then not going any further with it even being that angry. That, and then the fact of he talked to me originally a totally different way right after it happened. You remember that part, Ms. Cobb? The fact that you said that he snapped?
Yes?
Objection, Your Honor, that's not what it says.
Well,
Well, hold on, Attorney O'Brien, number 1. Mask. Thank you. Number 2, she can answer if she recalls. If she doesn't recall, she can tell the lawyer that also. Go ahead.
do you recall making that statement, Your Honor? I'm sorry, Ms. Cobb.
I believe so.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Your Honor.
Are you done?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Redirect.
Ms. Cobb, it doesn't say he snapped, it says I think he snapped, right?
Well, let's ask her what she recalls.
Do you know if he snapped?
I don't know. I wasn't there.
Were you just guessing what you thought happened?
Correct.
All right. Do you know what this Lion's highest level of education is?
I believe she graduated and had some college and a bachelor degree.
Mr. O'Brien asked you about Chad holding things over Erica's head. Do you recall that on cross-examination?
Yes.
Can you tell me, Chad is in prison, yes?
Yes.
He has no hope of getting out.
No.
He doesn't have his kids.
No.
He has no prospects for ever having his kids.
No.
What possibly does he have that he could hold over Erica's head?
I don't know.
Does he know about what she did involving Ashley's death?
My understanding, there was 3 people there that night. Chad, Ashley, and Erica.
And would that be something, that knowledge, he could hold over her head?
I would suppose so.
Because if he were to tell us about that knowledge, she would be sitting where she's sitting now. Is that fair?
Fair?
So other than that, what else could he possibly be holding over her head that she was worried about?
Nothing to my knowledge.
Do you recall Mr. O'Brien talking to you about, he asked you about whether she had told you at some point in the transcript or in the recording that she told you she had no plan or did not know the plan. Do you recall that? In cross-examination.
Yes.
You answered that question. You didn't hear that in the tape, did you?
I don't recall.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, if I could just, I'm trying to locate a page here.
Okay.
Which page of the plan? Directing you to counsel to page 15. I'm going to start at line 9.
Told exactly as it happened that we both in prison right now. I don't disagree with that. That's totally the truth. But for him to say that, you know, oh, I would have been there because of you, except for one for you. He came up with how to do it.
Did you hear what she just said there?
A little bit. It's not real plain. It's real hard to understand.
He came up with how to do it.
Yes.
He executed almost all of it.
He executed almost all of it.
The part that he executed went totally awry.
How could she know that if she didn't know the plan? Do you know?
I do not know the answer to that.
Counsel, page 136. Excuse me, 135, line 12. On the same line of not knowing, Mrs. Lyons telling you she does not know the plan, I'm going to play a portion of this tape for you here.
What line was that?
We started, just for sake of the ease of this computer, line 16 on 134.
It all went through the way it went through.
If you really want to point blank, it was the court system. Why the court would give temporary or whatever other kind of custody
Why do
to
it
any
any time?
stranger.
Yeah. I can't even, when I had to go through that stuff to look for the things that he needed, it got me so upset. I don't know why I still have it, because if he ever needs it, 3 months. And it was just like, what are we supposed to do? The court system is not going to work with us. Ashley is going to get custody of this child. Especially after the guardian ad litem came in and was like, oh, I don't know, it's telling the truth. I think that was one of the real tipping points.
Oops.
Wait a minute, well, I don't, what,
Whatever you needed for the workers' comp, I had to go through all our great stuff.
oh, okay.
And just glancing at it was so upsetting to me to remind me of all the crap that we went through and all the bullshit and just like hitting up against a wall and like, why is this happening? This is not the way it's supposed to go. She never should have yanked her. Why did that hearing get continued for 3 months? And it was just like, what are we supposed to do? The court system is not going to work with us. Ashley is going to get custody of this child. Especially after the guardian ad litem came in and was like, oh, I don't know, it's telling the truth.
And at this point, Mr. O'Brien played for you the next line, says, I think that was one of the real tipping points for him. You remember that?
Yes.
I'm going to play that in the next line.
I think that was one of the real tipping points for him. I was already there. I was there.
She said to you then, I was already there. She had already been past that tipping point, wasn't she?
Correct.
And then she tells you
Here from the beginning. I knew
she was there from the beginning. Is that fair?
That'd be fair.
And that she knew what the situation
what
was?
the situation was. I was like, given that this has happened, these are the courses of actions that can't happen.
So now she's telling you that she told Chad, these are the courses of action that can happen.
Correct.
And granted, one of them I should have left out, but
And now she's telling you that granted there was one plan that she should have left out.
Yes.
What did you take that to mean? That one plan that she should have left out was which one?
I would imagine killing of Ashley is the way
Objection,
I would
I
take
would
it.
imagine, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Mr. O'Brien also played you the rest of that portion of that tape.
he was at the point where he was getting ready to be like, I can't help her.
Where your son, she's saying your son told her, I can't help her.
I'll terminate my rights.
I'll terminate my rights. At that point in time, terminating his rights would have been him giving up, wouldn't it have?
Yes, he was,
She's telling you he was ready to let it go,
yes,
but she was already at that tipping point. Is that fair?
yes, he did make statements that he was ready to be done and give Ashley custody.
And then she goes on, she's telling you about Ashley and how GC is going to turn out to be just like Ashley.
Correct.
And that's what she is telling you.
Correct.
Not that Chad told her or Chad said to you, that's what she's telling you.
Correct.
And after she talks about all that, top of page 138, line 1,
Now Grace has a chance at life. She is.
now she's telling you now, because Ashley's dead, GC has a chance at life.
Objection, Your Honor, that's not what it says.
I'm sorry, now,
Hold on. You're withdrawing that?
I'm sorry, I misstated it, and I'll correct it. She has a
So,
chance
hold
of...
on then. If you're not going to withdraw, the objection is sustained. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was withdrawing it, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Question.
Very good.
So then she tells you after that, now Grace has a chance at a life. She has a chance of being a person with a life.
Correct.
And then she goes further to say, and with Ashley, she would have, I don't see a chance for her to be anything but what Ashley was because she was already picking up all the shit.
Correct.
All this in the context of your son getting ready to give up his rights. To give up.
Yes.
And she's explaining to you how she wasn't going to let him do that. Is that fair?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Counsel, page 153.
Line 24. Ms. Cobb, I'm sorry to jump around on you here, but going back to the part about not knowing that Ms. Stefanko does not know the plan.
It took both of you to get where you guys are today and where he is. And
It's not unreasonable to be like, well, okay, you get to go scot-free. Why does he have to now bear this burden?
right.
It's not that I don't understand that. It's that it was not it was not, knowing that that had to be your perspective was not a place I wanted to be.
And I mean, I think knowing how we're doing this, I don't think he would have.
No, it's not.
You were telling her there that if she had told him no way to do this, he wouldn't have done it. He would have listened to her.
Yes.
It's very true. And from the, like, if he
Was that, and did she acknowledge that?
Yes, she does.
had said, the thing that he and I really, like, butt heads against is all the bullshit that we did that we shouldn't have, where we could have gotten in trouble. There's always something that I would say to him, which I said to him repeatedly, whether he remembers or not, with the Ashley situation. You know what you can do and what you can't. If this is something that you think you can do, then I'm okay with it and I agree with it. If you can't do it, then obviously you shouldn't do it. And I always threw the ball back in his court. I don't think those are the exact words that I used that night because we already have been over that so many times. Like, we would fight about it. Like, I'm like, this is the only way the situation is going to go away.
So now she's telling you this is the only way the situation's going to go away. What is this way? Do you know?
What had transpired with Ashley.
But you don't know because you weren't there, right?
Correct.
But when she's telling you this is the way, she must know. Is that fair?
Yes.
And I feel like he really felt, I didn't know that at the time, but he really felt pressured by me to do something about it. Because I felt like he was the only person that could potentially do something about it. And he didn't tell me I can't do it. If he had said I can't do it, then it never would have proceeded. If he had said I can't do this is something that I can't do, there's no way in hell I would have been like, go forward with it.
So she encouraged him to not give up his rights, explained to him the only options, which one she said she should have left out. And then she asked him, can you do this? And he told her, I can. Correct?
Correct.
And then she's saying, if he had told me no, I would have not let him do it.
Correct.
I foolishly threw the ball in his court, let him make the determination as to whether he was capable to do something that I should have had the good sense to know you just don't ever try to do.
So were you left with the impression that she was confident and felt that your son could pull this off?
Yes, sir.
All right, I have no further questions.
All right, thank you.
Judge, recross?
Briefly.
Understood, Your Honor.
First of all, Ms. Cobb,
On page 136, counsel. Line 3. The transcript says, Ms. Cobb, I think that was one of the real tipping points for him. This is Ms. Lyon speaking. I was already there. Now, we're talking about the custody matter, correct?
Yes.
All right. I was already there. So Chad is at the point of giving up, and Miss Lyon is saying, I've already washed my hands. I've already given up.
Objection.
Overruled.
If he says, she says that he was already at the tipping point, and she was already there, that means she's past him giving up, correct?
That's not the way I took it, but
This is the custody battle, correct?
Correct.
Yes, ma'am?
yes.
Ma'am, I don't know if we made it real clear, but a nod of the head doesn't help Chris, the court.
Sorry.
And that, going on in that same paragraph, and granted that these are the courses of actions that, and then there's an inaudible, that can happen. Is that ever defined to you? Is that ever explained to you?
No.
And then it goes on to say, but he was to the point where he was getting ready to be like, I can't help her. I'll terminate my rights. Erica has told you she was already past that point, correct?
Yes.
On page 155, counsel. Line 14. There is a word, the sentence from 14 or 15 is, unlike this is the only way the situation is going to go away. Did she ever explain what this meant?
No.
Judge, thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, Mrs. Cobb, you may step down. Thank you for your time here today. Please recall the discussion that you and I had in the orders that you and other witnesses are under, and we appreciate your time and patience. Thank you very much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's 5:20. We will go ahead and recess for the evening. I will give you the schedule here in just one moment. I think we'll be prepared to begin at 9 a.m. with witnesses. Will the state be prepared to call its next witness at 9 a.m. tomorrow?
We will, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, then I will ask that you return at 8:45 a.m. tomorrow. Thank you for your time and your attention and your patience here today. Please, again, you are not permitted to discuss this case amongst yourselves or with anyone else. You're not permitted to do any independent research, and no one is permitted to have contact with you. And we will see you in the morning. Thank you very much. All right. Very good. Thank you. The other one shall. Thank you so much. All right, Ms. Sweeney will help the rest of you. Thank you very much. Have a great evening. We'll see you tomorrow. Yeah.
At some point, I need the invite for my witness.
Okay.
Make sure that it's,
Good stuff, Mark.
yeah, I can come early.
I told you. Kelly might, we'll talk about that, okay? Let me just, sorry, Ms. Sweeney, will you shut that door, that juror door? I'm so sorry. Okay, real quick, is there anything that the state would like to put on the record?
Not at this time. I guess the only thing we need to discuss would be more of a coordination with the witnesses for the Ring Central, but other than that, no.
Okay. Attorney O'Brien, anything else for the record?
Not at this time.
Okay. Just briefly, before we go off the record, remind me of witnesses for tomorrow. I will tell you, we have the line at the ODRC for your cross-examination beginning at 2 p.m.
2.
Okay? We have the time slot from 2 to 3 p.m. You noticed today that they allowed us to take some extra time, so, but I just want you to know officially it's 2 p.m.
Understood.
Very good. All right, so the state, who are you calling as witnesses in the morning?
The state plans on calling Mary Brinkman, Matt Travis. The question is, would you like to do
Okay.
Grace or GC, since we're pushing Chad Cobb back, or still?
All right, so let me ask you, so,
Well, we are doing
I'm
this.
sorry, you said tomorrow is whom? Matt Travis?
Correct, Your Honor.
And
Mary,
he's remote. Do you want to do him at 9 a.m.?
it depends on if I can get the technology to work.
On his end? Okay. Let me get Ms. Kroll. Are you waiting on his end?
He needs to know if his email is going to work with the Ring Central. I wanted to come in here and make sure I could physically connect with him before tomorrow morning.
Oh, okay. All right, what we do is I can have Ms. Kroll send him,
Invite? I have his email address, Your Honor.
we just don't have a session scheduled. Well, we can talk about that. You know, we can't invite him to a session that doesn't exist.
Oh, I
You
see.
see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, in any event,
And those are the two lay witnesses, Your Honor.
who's the other one?
Mary Brinkman,
Okay, and she's local.
she is.
Okay, just estimate for me, how long do you think her testimony will be? What role does she play?
She is an individual that had a conversation with Erica Stefanko as well, and she's offering that testimony.
Great. So how long do you think?
For both of us, I believe it should be no more than an hour.
Okay, so 1 hour for her, and then in theory, Mr. Travis would be pretty quick. An hour with both of you max.
I believe so, Your Honor.
Okay. Do we have his, do you want Ms. Kroll to send you the email or have him, or send it directly to him?
Whichever one is best for the court, I have his email address, or you can copy me with it as well. Whatever is best for the court.
She's gonna do it literally right now and see if she can get him to sign in. I know that we don't have an active session, but just to see if at least.
Yeah, I
we
can do
could-
a practice. I
Okay.
want to do a practice.
Yes. Mhm.
He said he was using, an email, he's setting it up on his son's, computer, and he wanted to make sure it worked, that's why
Okay,
I kept asking him for.
fair enough.
Did he install Essential yet?
All right, so then we have Chad Cobb at 2, we'll just wait, let me finish this just real quick. So we have Chad Cobb at 2, so then we have time slots available. You all had told me that the child would be at what time tomorrow?
Well, we were planning on 3, because we're going 1 to 3, we thought the chat would be done by 3.
Okay,
I guess that depends on cross-examination.
yeah, so
So
we
that's what
may
we're
not
just-
get to her till at least 4. How
Well-
long estimate do you think she's gonna take the length of his mom?
Oh, no.
Do you think she'll be quick?
I think so, unless Mr. O'Brien's got a blistering cross, I don't think he does, based on my knowledge of him. I think it's gonna be relatively simple. I would say maybe half hour, I mean, it's gonna be definitely less than an hour, probably 30 to 45 minutes.
Between direct and class,
Yeah,
best
I mean,
estimate?
You
Okay.
know, I defer to
Because she's essentially gonna testify to what she witnessed and if, what she recalls from that evening essentially?
It's very limited.
Okay, all right. So you need another witness in, I would say, planning at either 11 or at 1.
So that's what we were just discussing, maybe possibly moving her up into those slots.
Okay,
We'd have to see about scheduling with,
okay. If not, though, let's get somebody else in there.
Yeah,
We'll
All
be
right.
in our officers, Your Honor.
we could probably start with
Okay.
the officers.
All right, fair enough. So then, that'll be the schedule tomorrow. All right, then we can go off the record and then we're done with, thanks. We're done with Ms. Stefanko then, right now.